How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Gaming Entertainment Hub. And recently, it looks like Nintendo has made an official announcement that they will not be using Generative AI to produce any of their first-party games, and which is kind of like has been a trend and recently in the tech industry, like everything is just virtually using AI at this point. But we all know Nintendo, like they always seem to be very conservative with their practices. When it comes to their practices, they always seem to be a lot more conservative with the way they run their own business, and that is definitely a good thing that they do that. Instead of just like mindlessly follow trends like you see with PlayStation and Xbox, and that's actually kind of a good. I think that's a good thing. I think that they won't be taking that approach. And so yeah, without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into this, shall we? So 2024 has been a rough year for the gaming industry, in considering all the layoffs that have happened thus far, especially with Xbox, of course. Man, it would seem that some developers are considering to embracing generative AI in place of human workers in hopes to cutting costs. And to be fair, developing games in 2024 has become an unbelievably expensive venture. Nintendo President Shintaro Furukawa recently participated in the investor-focused Q&A, where he revealed that Nintendo's plans to produce a sufficient number of Nintendo Switch 2 units, assuming which is basically they're going to assume and what they're going to call this console, and in order to combat scalping. As it turns out, Furukawa also commented on the usage of generative AI for game development. A translation of what has been provided by Tweaktown. And here's what he has to say. He said in quotes, "Generative AI, which has been a hot topic in recent years, can be more creative, but we also recognize that it has issues with intellectual property rights. We have decades of know-how in creating optimal gaming experiences for our customers, and while we remain flexible and respond to technological developments, we hope to continue to deliver value that is unique to us and cannot be achieved through technology alone." In accordance with the rumor specs, the Nintendo Switch 2 will make use of the NVIDIA DLSS upscaling technology. And effectively, DLSS is neural graphics technology that uses artificial intelligence to generate frames between existing frames as a way of cheaply increasing the frame rates. And of course, DLSS and generative AI aren't not the same thing, though they are both use deep learning neural networks. Generative AI is generally seen as being a morally and legally gray technology due to how it effectively copies from human labor. And fortunately for Nintendo, the Switch has been a huge success for them, being that it was able to reach each about 141 million units, well, more than 141 million units sold since the release back in 2017, marketed as their third best-selling gaming device ever after the Nintendo DS and the PS2. And this success could have come at a better time considering how the Wii U failed to meet expectations that only sold around 13 million units throughout its lifetime, which is kind of a bummer. So regardless, it would appear that Nintendo still intends to rely on their game producers and human labor to produce their first-party titles for the foreseeable future. For the Super Smash Bros. Series, Nintendo will likely want Masahiro Sakurai and possibly Bandai Namco Studio 2 and Studio S to continue the series after the massive success of Smash Ultimate. And so yeah, I gotta say, this is actually, in my opinion, definitely really a good move for Nintendo, saying that to actually make sure, or they could actually avoid layoffs, which is, I gotta say, it looks like they still kind of have still maintain that business integrity that's been going on since then, especially with how Satoru Iwata basically cut his own pay, so that way Nintendo employees could actually keep their jobs and won't get laid off. And I gotta say, that was a very honorable thing for him to do back then and during his lifetime when he was basically the president of Nintendo back in the day. And I gotta say, it looks like Nintendo still has that integrity. I like how they're, sure, we can all have our disagreements with the way they run their business practices, like in terms of how they handle their online services on the Switch, but overall, like this kind of stuff right here, like the fact that they just don't mindlessly follow trends and they just stick to their guns and just remain conservative with their business practices. Yes, I think that's like one of the best things why Nintendo is like pretty successful compared to their competitors, and they are definitely not like taking their competition with with Sony and Microsoft that seriously, and not actually blindly following the same route as them, especially even with that old interview that came out 20 years ago. Well, that basically was recorded 20 years ago. It was Terrawa saying that at the route out that Xbox and PlayStation were taking in terms of like adding more horsepower to their consoles, those generation after generation, and then that could actually lead to being a recipe for disaster. And right now we're seeing in front of our eyes right now, especially with the current state of the gaming industry. And I would not be surprised if I actually witnessed a second crash in my lifetime. But I wasn't around whenever the first video game crash happened in 1983. But man, but it looks like there is a good chance that we might actually see another crash happening in sometime in the near future if things keep on going in the way they're going right now. And so yeah, that's going to be it for my thoughts on this, and that's going to be it for today's video, guys. And if you found this video to be helpful and informative, then be sure to drop a like as always, subscribe for more content like this, hit the bell to be notified whenever my next video is going to drop, and get your own thoughts or opinions. Then go ahead and sign up in the comment section below and get a discussion going, because I would love to hear your thoughts on this. And again, thank you so much for tuning in as always, and we'll catch you all in the next one. All right, peace out.